Are you open to negotiating with the Iranians right now, or do you want to wait?
I've been negotiating. I told them to do the deal. They should have done the deal. Their cities have been blown to pieces. They've lost a lot of people. They should have done the deal. I told them do the deal. So I don't know. I'm not too much in the mood to negotiate now.
As Israel's strikes on Iran continue, and with Iran retaliating in self-defense, Americans are growing increasingly worried that Donald Trump might drag us into the conflict next. And new updates today indicate that is on the table. But before we get to the latest, Cenk, how are you feeling about this right now?
Yeah, so I think the jury's come in. Donald Trump has decided that he is going to drag us into this war. I think the details of this story are really, really important because it shows you how he got there and how basically Netanyahu tricked the living crap out of him and how he's such a knucklehead. And so he got tricked so easily into this war. And now it looks like America's gonna go in not just knee deep, but neck deep into this war. So let's explain.
Let's get into the latest. After 4 nights of launching missiles at Israel in heavy barrages, Iran significantly scaled back its attacks overnight into Tuesday, marking the lowest volume since it began retaliating for Israel's airstrikes. Experts say the change could reflect both Iran's diminished ability to strike back and also a deliberate shift toward lower intensity attacks sustained over a longer period. Now, G7 leaders, including Trump, signed a joint statement on Monday that, quote, affirms Israel has a right to defend itself and, quote, reiterates their support for the security of Israel. In the same statement, they called for de-escalation in the Middle East. But despite signing on to that statement, Trump seems to be taking a different tone. Axios reported today that US officials said Trump is seriously considering joining the war and launching a US strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, especially its underground uranium enrichment facility in Fordow. Trump has also spent the last few days conducting foreign policy by truth, with this coming earlier today. We now have complete and total control over the skies over Iran. Iran has good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it. But it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured, quote, stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. Followed by this. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out, parentheses, kill, at least for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. But a post yesterday has critics both angry and alarmed. Iran should have signed the, quote, deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. It's worth noting that Trump ripped up President Obama's Iran nuclear deal that did place limits on Iran's uranium enrichment. But more urgently, telling residents of Tehran to evacuate is extremely troubling. Tehran's population in the city alone is nearly 10 million people. And because of the panic that Trump induced, leaving presents a major logistical issue. If you expand that area to the metropolitan area, which includes surrounding suburbs and towns, its population stands at approximately 14 to 15 million. Heavy traffic congestion is already common in Tehran, especially during rush hour or public holidays. But many of the roads on Tuesday were at a standstill with traffic jams throughout the city as residents attempted to evacuate. Tehran is also surrounded by mountainous terrain, and exit routes are limited to fewer than a dozen arteries that lead out of the city. Al Jazeera's Dorsa Jabari spoke to some residents who had been attempting to leave Tehran, noting that a trip that usually takes 7 to 8 hours to reach an area by the Caspian Sea can now take between 18 to 24 hours to complete due to traffic. Now, one troubling factor that could lead to direct US involvement is capacity. One of Iran's main nuclear facilities, Fordow, is located so deep inside a mountain that it could be effectively bombed only by the United States, which alone has the 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb that could damage the site, and the B-2 stealth bomber needed to deliver it. Now, with the US possibly on the brink of a new war with Iran, French President Emmanuel Macron is urging everyone not to make the same mistake they did with Iraq. Does anyone think that what was done in Iraq in 2003 was a good idea? He told reporters in Canada, where he was attending a Group of 7 summit. Does anyone think that what was done in Libya the previous decade was a good idea? No. I think the biggest mistake today is to use military means to bring about regime change in Iran, because that would mean chaos. Cenk, there's a couple things here I think that are worth pointing out. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Trump, who was purportedly the no new wars candidate, seems to be pushing us into a new war, but also this idea that through military force, we are going to lead to regime change, and the population there is going to welcome and celebrate it, leading to a stable future, seems to clash with history. Well, what do you make of this?
Yeah, so Trump's a sucker, and a willing sucker at that, and he got hoodwinked into this. And I'm going to explain the details so you know that it wasn't just that he'd always wanted to do it. No, the dum-dum got tricked into it. And is it his responsibility? Of course, he's the commander-in-chief, president of the United States. It's 100% his responsibility. So I'm going to come back to that in a second. But first, on the things that Jordan shared with you guys. First of all, the G7 leaders, look, they're like inching towards criticizing Israel, and a couple of 100 years from now, they might gather up the courage to do that after Israel has wiped out the entire Middle East, right? But I mean, this statement where they quote, affirm Israel has a right to defend itself. Is that a joke? Are we supposed to laugh at that? Israel started the war. Is that a thing that's allowed? Can we just go and just attack the living crap out of Canada? And then if Canada fights back, goes, hey, we got a right to defend ourselves here. Let's obliterate Canada more. That's literally what Israel does. And so enabling them is not helping. European government, look, American government's nearly hopeless except for the fight back that we're gonna tell you about throughout the show from the actual grassroots, the population rising up now, because they've lost everyone. Everyone, no one in America wants this war, and I'll prove that to you with the numbers in a second. But the European leaders, what are you guys doing? Why are you serving Israel loyally? What is wrong with you guys? So gather up some courage to oppose Israel, constantly attacking their neighbors and starting wars. All right, so now, are we involved? Well, Trump says we have control over their skies. He said we, right? Then he talked about American weapons doing all the damage. Bragging about it, American intelligence involved, American weapons involved, not just on defense, but on offense. That is critical, absolutely critical. Then third way that we're involved, he says, oh yeah, by the way, we can murder your leader at any time, and we might later. You know, if we decide that we're gonna kill you, we reserve the right to kill you. By the way, of course, if they killed our leaders, whether it's US or Israel, we would say, terrorist, the worst terrorists in the world. But Israel's above the law. So Israel can kill any foreign leader they like. They can also kill any US citizen they like. And you're not allowed to complain about it at all, otherwise anti-Semite. So now there are three options involved in how the next phase of the attack happens. So option number one is Israel does it on their own. It turns out, guys, this is so sad, but it's reported from the New York Times, okay, with a lot of internal sources. So Trump all the way through was hesitant about attacking. He did stop an attack in April from Israel. Netanyahu's jonesing to attack Iran. Now, why now? We're gonna show you how he's been trying to get us to attack Iran for 33 straight years now. He's been lying for 33 straight years. Conclusive proof of that in a minute. So why now? Because they wiped out the Syrian forces. Why did Assad fall? As Israel did that. This whole idea of like some rando Al-Qaeda dude just came out of nowhere and did it. No, Israel wiped out their air force and took a portion of Western Syria and cleared out the airspace. They cleared out Hezbollah, they cleared out Hamas, so they're not worried about Iranian proxies anymore. This is when Iran is most defenseless and has the least ability to strike Israel. So Netanyahu told the US intelligence and Trump, sometime in the last 2 months, listen, I don't really care about you. You're gonna keep sending me money because you're a sucker and I own you, okay? So you don't have any right to do anything about what I'm doing, okay? But I'm going to go attack Iran whether you like it or not. You understand me? And Trump was like, okay. So then they started changing the game planning, the war planning inside the White House to, okay, Israel's definitely going to attack. Now there, if Trump was a man, what he would have done is, what'd you say? Did you just boss me around and tell me that you're gonna do that attack even though I told you not to? Which he very clearly said in April not to. Trump told Netanyahu that. Netanyahu comes back in a couple of weeks, goes, yeah, I'm gonna do it. What are you gonna do about it, huh? And Trump goes, nothing, I'm so sorry. So not a man, okay, not a leader, and certainly not anti-war. So then they start planning around, okay, what do we do? And that's when they presented the 3 options I mentioned earlier. So option number 1 is Israel does it on their own, but now it looks like we are past that option. And all the things that Jordan read you means that we are going to do either option 2 or option 3. Because option 1 was, hey, good luck. I mean, we'll obviously help in defense, although I don't think that should be obvious at all. But we'll knock down all their missiles. We'll get as involved as you want us to be, but we're not going on the offense, okay? So we're past that. It looks like, by all indications, New York Times reporting and everything that Donald Trump has said publicly, we are going to go on the offense. We are going to start a war with Iran as the United States of America. And it's Israel's war. It has nothing to do with us. Nothing. They don't have nukes. It's all a lie. Has absolutely nothing to do with America. But we're going to be forced to pay for this war. We're already paying a ton of money. Like the press never reports that all those missiles cost money. Going on the offense is going to cost a lot more money. And God help us if we got to go on the ground. Okay, so, but the third option is, hey, America, you do it on your own, okay? We started it. We're not gonna fight it. We're not gonna risk precious Israeli lives. Why don't you use your worthless American soldiers to go die for us, okay? And if you think, that's not a strategy, Benjamin Netanyahu, one of the leading neocons who pushed for the Iraq war, some of the fake intelligence about the WMD was from Israel. So, and at the time, Israeli leaders said Iraq was their #1 enemy. Now they say Iran is their #1 enemy. So we have to do that work for them. But not only that, Trump already lived this. With the Qasem Soleimani killing in his first term, the top military leader for Iran when they bombed him, Israel said that they were going to do it together with us. And at the last second, Netanyahu pulled out and made America do it by itself so it would have the full responsibility. And if a war started, America would be forced to fight it, not Israel. That's who Netanyahu is. So there is some chance that we're gonna go in together, and at some point Israel's gonna go, not my war. Now you go fight it for me. Look at these bought, corrupt politicians in America. So easy to buy. You just get AIPAC to give them a couple $100 million, and then we get a couple $100 billion back. The Iraq war cost trillions. Bunch of suckers in America for Israel to abuse. If you think, hey, wait, Jen, come on. Now that sounds like it's hyperbole. I mean, has Netanyahu and Israel really been lying to us this whole time? I mean, I hear on mainstream media that they are the beloved special ally, and that we should trust them more than anyone else, than the rest of the Middle East combined, than the rest of the world combined. They are the special ally. They cannot be questioned. And if you do, anti-Semite. Okay, so prepare for the entire country to become apparently anti-Semites by mainstream media and Washington's definition, because you're all about to find out how much of a liar Benjamin Netanyahu and the government of Israel is. So this is a clip, by the way, put together. Anybody could have done this. As usual, embarrassing that ABC News, CNN, etc. not only doesn't do this, but kind of hides it from you. It took the Daily Show to put together this clip. Now let's watch.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
That was Benjamin Netanyahu. For those of you on the audio podcast, throughout all the years dating back to 1995, for 33 straight years, Benjamin Netanyahu and the government of Israel has been lying to America to get us to go into a war with Iran on behalf of Israel. And what they have told us, oh, they're weeks away. They're so close. Oh my, they're on the verge, he said in that 1996 clip. They were on the verge in 1996. Our intelligence, and this is now absolutely public because Tulsi Gabbard said it in congressional hearings, say that Iran does not even have a uranium weapons program. It hasn't had one since 2003. The Grand Ayatollah has forbidden it and even done a religious edict saying that it is immoral to develop a nuclear weapon. And our intelligence has confirmed that they do not have a bomb. They're nowhere near having a bomb. All of this has always been lies. And wait, what was the lie about Iraq that got us to go in? Not that they did 9/11, because they actually didn't do 9/11. Saddam Hussein, as terrible as he was against Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda was trying to topple his government as well. So not 9/11, that was a convenient excuse. Oh, it was WMD, weapons of mass destruction. Oh wait, what's a nuclear weapon? Oh right, a weapon of mass destruction. Huh, another giant lie about WMD, and now we're getting dragged into another war. So finally come back all the way around to Trump. So Israel goes, hey, listen, you're not the boss of us, we're the boss of you. We're gonna go start this war in Iran, and then you're gonna have to go use one of your 3 options where you come in and we do this. Okay, so they start doing it. And then Trump, the reason they put out the statement with Marco Rubio on the first night saying, hey, this is Israel doing it, not us, is because Trump wanted to see how it went. And then on Fox News, this is why Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, and others are now in a war with Fox News. Fox News, because they know Trump is watching, puts out video reports of Israel with a genius strike inside Iran. How strong, how wonderful of Israel. They have done a brilliant job here. So then Trump watches that and it's like, wait, no, I want the credit to go to me. So he rushes out and goes, oh, I knew it, I knew they were gonna do it, we're involved. Oh, Jesus Christ. You're so easy and predictable and dumb. So he's, yeah, we were involved. So now the next and last layer is, now Israel is telling Trump, again, this is New York Times reporting and the reporting in mainstream media from sources inside the White House. They're telling him, oh, this is gonna be easy. Do you know that they said, the neocons said, that the Iraq war would only cost 1.9 billion? Instead, it literally cost at least 1,000 times that. It cost over $2 trillion. And now they're telling Trump the same exact lie. Oh, Donnie, this is gonna be so easy. No, we just bombed their nuclear. I mean, we don't do it, we can't do it, we don't have the capability to do it. So then why'd you start the war? Oh, we knew that if we start the war, even though we can't accomplish our mission of knocking out their non-existent nukes, America will do it for us. And so now the moron Donald Trump thinks, oh yeah, I'm gonna be strong like Israel. Yeah, I'll fight this war for them. I'll knock out their nukes. So they're planning, and again, they don't have that. They have nuclear facilities for energy. And it's been confirmed by the world that it is for energy. Now, are they trying to enrich the uranium past that? Because they started to worry that Israel's gonna attack them unless they have nukes? I don't know. I know that they're enriching uranium a little bit more now, but they don't even have a weapon to put it on, and it would take over a year for them to produce that weapon. Not according to me, according to Benjamin Netanyahu over the weekend, he said that. They're still, even by Netanyahu's standards, well over a year away from having that be a weapon. So there is no weapon to bomb there, okay? There are facilities. So we're gonna go and do that apparently, that's apparently imminent. By the way, when we do that, our troops are sitting ducks all across the Middle East. They don't have Iron Dome, they're just waiting there to get killed on behalf of Israel so that Donald Trump and the neocons can come out and go, oh, that's it, Iran attacked America. War. And Jordan, the last part of it is, boom, they move the goalposts. So, and you'll see this all over the media now. We tell you ahead of time now, you're gonna notice it if you make the mistake of turning on cable news or engaging in mainstream media in other ways. Now it's no longer knocking out their non-existent nukes, it's regime change. Well, how are you gonna do regime change? Well, we're gonna kill the Ayatollah, but that's not gonna do it. They'll just replace him with another mullah and then another one and another one. Oh, you gotta go on the ground. Okay, and this is how America gets suckered into another war for Israel. Jordan.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I want to point out the intelligence that the US had and was shared and reporters learned of earlier this year showed they were around 3 years away from enriching uranium to weapons grade, which would allow them to have a nuclear weapon. But that isn't, the intelligence also found that isn't even actively what they're doing. They are just using uranium and enriching uranium for medical devices, for necessities, for infrastructure. And I want to remind people that they have been subject to crippling sanctions, which worsened their healthcare system, especially during the pandemic. So that's why, in part, why they were enriching uranium, on top of all of the other totally diplomatic reasons that every other country would, like energy. So this idea that we have to take out their program and that in doing so we will topple their government and everyone in Iran will cheer and be happy is ludicrous. You can see from history, time and time again, US intervention and regime change has created a vacuum in those countries or in those regions that allow even worse actors to come in, establish shop, and make life a living hell. And then the US uses that as justification for permanent occupation. At what cost? How many people need to lose their lives? How many people need to be harmed? How many billions and billions or trillions of dollars do we need to waste on these types of just wasteful efforts, these kind of Don Quixote escapades? Meanwhile, people here are suffering. You ask anybody in middle America who can't afford to make ends meet, who's struggling to afford groceries, who's struggling to pay for their medical bills, or can't afford their car payment, or even struggling to keep a roof over their head. Do you think they care right now about Iran? Do you think they care about who's in charge? Do you think they care about Iran's nuclear capabilities? And if you had to ask them, what would you rather your tax dollars go to? Paying for essential services for you, like SNAP and Medicaid, which are currently on the chopping block because of a purported debt and spending crisis, according to Republicans? Or do you want it to go to Israel? Or do you want it to go to our military so they can bomb a mountain in Iran? I'd say, Cenk, probably 90%, if not more, would say, no, I'd rather my issues get taken care of. So not only is this ridiculous, not only is this harmful and dangerous for people living in Iran, you're neglecting the people that got you into office. And I know we've got more later in the hour of his base turning on him, but that is an important point to drive home. Nobody wants this. Polling shows this is deeply, deeply unpopular, regardless of political persuasion. Across the country, people do not want this. Only the hawks, only the military-industrial complex, and potentially now Trump.
Yeah, so last couple of things here. Yesterday we covered Tim Dillon talking about what Jordan was mentioning there. He's like, if you knocked on a trailer camp door in Arizona or something, and you asked that brother, hey, what's your top 3 concerns? Do you think Iran would be on that list? Like, it's a joke, right? I mean, I said if you put top 20, Iran wouldn't be on that list. No, only the people in Washington, the elites, the powerful want this. In fact, I have a poll that absolutely positively proves that. Poll came out today. Only 16% of Americans want America to get involved in the war with Iran. 16%. 16% is such a small number. That's like super radicals. The rest of the country looks at them like you're crazy, you're nuts. Overwhelming majority of the country does not want the US involved in this war. But almost everyone in Washington does. And they're basically giving a giant middle finger to the rest of us and going, oh, you're on the left, you've always been anti-war. We never listened to you guys anyway, right? Oh, you're on the right and you actually became anti-war and you voted for Trump because you thought he was anti-war. Suckers. We did the same thing with the Democrats. Like, oh yeah, Biden's anti-war. What did he vote for the Iraq war? Of course he did. Hillary's anti-war. Did she vote for the Iraq war? John Kerry, did he vote for the Iraq war? They all voted for the Iraq war, you suckers. And who started that? The Republicans did. So you go to Republicans? Nope, we're gonna start the wars. Democrats, we're gonna bow our heads and go along with the wars. And who's back? Trump. Oh, he's different. He's not uniparty. He's not establishment. And he's like, Bibi, how can I help you? How can I start a war? So no, the same old uniparty, the same old establishment, and the elites are laughing at us. They're going, look at this. 84% of the country doesn't want it, but we're gonna make them do it anyway. And those other 16% watch cable news, we brainwash the living crap out of them. And they think this helps America. Hilarious. Okay, what's not gonna be funny is when we fight back. So we're gonna start that tonight. You know the show's live 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll give you the news. And then at 8, oftentimes we do interviews. So tonight we'll be doing an interview with Dave Smith, one of the leading libertarians in the country. And I'm gonna propose to you guys a way that you could fight back and you could throw all these bums out. And I think it's realistic. I think it can be done. Will it be done enough time to stop this initial bombing? No way, no chance of that. But later in the show, we're gonna show you that there are a couple of heroes inside Congress that are trying to stop this war. And there is a way you can help them, and we could actually try, at the very, very minimum, try really hard to stop this war. And if we can't stop it, well, there should be deep political consequences. So I'm calling that Operation Consequences. You'll see that tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.